Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever for another 4v4 TMM cast, this time on Syrtis Assault. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. I used to say Citrus Assault, but that's wrong. Either way, let's go ahead and get into introducing our players with Team 1 in the north and Team 2 in the south. But before we get to introductions, please consider going to the buttons down below and clicking all of them. The like, subscribe, bell, join, super thanks, and dislike if you don't like it buttons are all there for your clicking pleasure. And let's go ahead and get into introducing our players, starting with the northernmost player on Team 1, a Maroon Aeon, who has the lovely name of Magnet. Then we're going to move down to the south with a Yellow Aeon, two best factions to start us off today, by the name of Dinyo. Actually, as we move on to the Orange UEF going first land, and his name is Master Chief. Then to the south, last for Team 1, but certainly not least, a Red Cybern going by the name of Kanjiro. As we move on to the second team, we're going to start in the south and head to the north with the Blue Cybern going first land by the name of Ag Orange. And then we can move over to his northwest with the Cyan Cybern going first land by the name of Crodex. Then up to the north of him, we have a Purple Cybern going first land by the name of Noble Ice. And last but not least, we have a Blue UEF with the name Bretschreis, German name. And with that out of the way, we have all of our players introduced. We can look at the map. Ridiculous amount of reclaim, nearly 100,000 on this map in total, so a lot of manual reclaiming going on. And then we also have all of the reclaim in these structures, which I'm pretty sure does bring it over 100,000 here in the central area that these players are going to be fighting over. And it's going to be a good old time watching these players really just get right down to brass tacks and start punching each other in the face with various robots of various sizes, and it's going to be a real fun one. So get ready to strap in for a relatively long game, as most of my casts are, I know, and hopefully you all enjoy. We do have the early developments already happening. The differences between plays coming from these teams is already very visible. We have a lot of comms moving out for Team 1. Team 2 has a few more comms that are moving out a little bit slower. In the middle, it looks as though we might have 2 to 3 comms for Team 1, whereas it seems as though there's just one really focusing on getting there, that being Noble Ice for Team 2. Whereas over here on the southeast, it seems as though there was an attempt at raiding on Ag Orange out from Kanjiro. And Kanjiro doesn't really get anything with it. He does walk away with the Mantis after taking one shot from that commander. Of course, 2 shots does kill the Mantis, so he's going to be happy to get out of there with with 70 HP and be at least happy it's not dead for the moment. As we are waiting for these players to probably tech up a little bit. It's a very eco-heavy map. They have so much reclaim near your base, and we're already going to see a lot of players getting T2. T2 starting now on the comm of Crodex. Going to have to see if that is impactful or not. Has heavy assistance on that, as he's built quite the bank of T1 power to allow him to do this. And I'm sure once he completes this upgrade, he will probably be sending it to the front in order to try and exert some control over this central area. I personally on this map really am a fan of going on my first factory, getting my second unit produced to be an artillery, get in here, get rid of these T1 or T1 PD that are really stopping your progress very early on, and you can get into this reclaim very quickly. The only difficult side of that is all of these structures are alive, so you do have to kill them off. We have a myriad of upgrades on the way for various comms. Currently damage and range on the way for Breck up here. We also have T2 on the way for Magnet, sensors on the way for Dinyo. All of these players deciding different paths to victory. And of course, only 4 of these players going to be walking away with a win. The other 4 going to unfortunately have to take a seat in the loser's chair. As Speed and Range is now on the way for Noble Ice. He's looking to pressure this middle area quite heavily. And that Speed and Range upgrade going to come up very quickly. We now have the Calm of Crodex coming forward with that T2 upgrade. We'll have to see if he can manage to get up some Cerberus turrets to hold on to this. I almost said Cyberus, which doesn't make any sense, even though it would. If they named it the Cyberus, it would have worked, as damage and range is about to finish up for Birch. T2 about to finish up for Magnet. Down in the southeast, Speed and Range just now starting up for Ag Orange. Kenjiro doesn't have any upgrading going on the comm, and I think he is the only player in the game right now who has not gotten a comm upgrade other than his ally Master Chief. The oh-so prominent Halo player, detouring himself away from his pastime of teabagging dead mechanized soldiers to grace us with his presence and try to capture a T3 power gen, which is quite the ambitious move. It's really a power statement, really trying to assert dominance over this middle area if you're going to capture any of these larger structures. And it does take a very, very long time to make that happen. As down here to the southeast, Kenjiro starting to push with a relatively large platoon of Mantis. Does not have Speed and Range on the comm very critically, and Speed and Range is about to finish up for Ag Orange. He's only about 30 seconds out from that, so as long as he doesn't completely capitulate and lose this area in the next 30 seconds, should be able to come up there and really push back against Kenjiro. Speed and Range now finishing up for Noble Ice, as we have a PD creep now queued up for Crodex, and he's going to be very quickly able to kill off these shield generators, kill off the power generators if he so pleases, and kill off these neutral civilian units, while also being able to protect his own area, claim this area as his for the reclaim. T2 is finished up now for Dinyo. Speed and Range has finished up for Ag Orange. He immediately starts stealth. Nano Repair now on the way for Birch, and T2 over here for Magnet as he starts to throw up some Oblivions and Mars just to try and exert some more control over this general area. In the center, Master Chief starting to take quite a little bit of damage. He does have the added benefit here of this power generator going to be eating a lot of the damage that he could be taking. The power generator going to go down. Going to take out a few structures with its wake, or in its wake, I guess is how I should have stated that. And overall going to be in a decent position is Crodex as he moves into the middle to start setting up even more Cerberus turrets. Although Dinyo and Master Chief now working together, and as well as a couple of T1 engineers out from Dinyo, means that these Cerberus turrets are going to have to be thrown up very quickly for Crodex if he wants any chance of holding on to this area, as Dinyo, Master Chief, and his engineers, as long as they have decent economies behind them, will very easily be able to produce more Oblivion turrets than Crodex can produce Cerberus. Of course, Crodex has the advantage of already having built a few Cerberus turrets, so he's going to be able to use their DPS to really supplement his newly built Cerberus and kind of try and establish some form of control over this central area. Whereas in the southeast, pushes are coming out from Kenjiro. It seems as though he's mainly just worried about the comm. I think he's just putting some units out there to try and stop this commander from pushing forward while he gets his own Speed and Range upgrade. Whereas over in the north, the Oblivion creep is now starting. We're up to 3 Oblivions now on the field, trying to push Birch back, Bretch back. Bretch now showing up with Nano and Gun, going to be able to use that to great effect. Although the Aurora count looking a little bit dangerous here for the blue UEF. Whereas in the middle, the Cerberus turret creep seemingly is going to slowly fall apart here. Oblivion's going to do a little bit better in a trade against Cerberus. They are very good with their alpha damage. The Cerberus not quite as good at dealing with high health targets, and the Oblivion kind of falls into that category right now. And Noble Ice showing up to the front line, gonna eat a few artillery shells before falling back. May even end up eating some Oblivion shells if he's not too careful here, as over here to the north it does seem as though Magnet has managed to get himself a nice little stronghold, although he has been pushed back and has lost an Oblivion, I believe, which is going to be unfortunate for him, as Noble Ice continues to try and put pressure on this position for Dinyo, trying to help out Crodex, but Crodex has kind of abandoned this position, and very soon Noble Ice will be the only thing left for these Oblivions to shoot, and these artillery are getting some damage down onto that comm, quickly taken from basically full HP to half HP. Noble Ice in a very precarious situation as he needs to fall back. I want to point out really quick in chat at the very beginning of the game, please don't suicide directly at Noble Ice. I like it, says Noble Ice, so a little bit troll out of him, but he is very close to dying. Just a couple more Oblivion shots and he's dead. Dinyo defeats Noble Ice, who did indeed like suiciding very early on into the match, apparently. There's a few units over here, a run-by out from Master Chief, taking the attention away for Crodex. And that's going to leave the base of Noble Ice to be transferred over to Breck. Breck, the best player, most likely to get it. He is the highest rated player in the game, with the exception of Magnet. And now with double base, I would be surprised if Magnet can hold out against his aggression as long as Breck decides to commit to this area. And now we have to look at the 3v4, and we have to kind of evaluate the game. Was it worth killing Noble Ice there? They did have the option not to. You can always just tell the Oblivions to shoot at literally anything but that commander, and you would not have killed him. So gonna have to see if Breck can make good use of the double economy he's gonna be sitting on. As of the moment, let's go ahead and look at economies. Breck currently at 87 mass a second, their closest competitor being Magnet at 64, 62 for Kanjiro, Master Chief at 53, 52 for Ag Orange, Crodex at 48, and Dinyo at the back of the pack with 41, but nobody's on a bad economy right now. I want to point that out as we switch back to sorting by teams and sorting by mass economy there for your viewing pleasure. Overall, Team 1 ahead by a few thousand mass in the total mass gained this game. So Team 1 doing quite well for themselves. They've done pretty well on reclaim, I would imagine, as we can check the reclaim numbers, 39 versus 38,000. So no, most of their advantage is in generated mass economy, and it's 225 mass a second versus 186. Whereas over here, Magnet starting to take some fire, has calmed down to yellow HP. He still has 10,000 HP, still in that 5-digit range, still going to be happy. And he does lose an Oblivion to that last fire, that last shot out from that Lobo. We also have Mongoose on the front line going down there. I don't think the Mongoose was particularly poorly used there, but it is, of course, a little bit more micro-incentive to use those Mongoose, so you have to be a bit careful with them. Can't go too willy-nilly when using Mongoose. Down here to the southeast, seems as though Ag Orange and Kanjiro are at odds with each other. Ag Orange in a bit of a precarious position as he's very far away from his reinforcements, although they are now making their way towards that commander. He was trying to, I guess, abuse the speed and range upgrade he had there, along with that stealth, try and pick off some units, but realizing he's a little bit overextended, brings his own units forward in an attempt to protect himself. And we are settling into the mid-game relatively nicely. Neither team in a particularly horrible position with each other. Entire middle area reclaimed. We have to assume most of that is via Dinyo and Master Chief. Doing quite well. Shield on the way for Master Chief. Speaking of upgrades, any that we have missed, T2 has also finished up for Master Chief. And other than that, we just have stealth that we didn't mention for Kanjiro. Both the comms down here identical with each other. Speed and range and stealth. The only thing differentiating these comms is level of veterancy, as Kanjiro is one rank of veterancy behind Ag Orange. who is on 1 veterancy. Whereas here in the middle, Master Chief kind of poising to get another little run by in. I don't think it'll be too effective. There's already reactionary units kind of set up around here, and there's also a Cerberus or 2 that these units most likely will stray into the range of, as we have T3 land making an appearance here in this game. We have Loyalists out onto the field for Ag Orange. I'm sure he's going to be happy to find out that he is on the money with his investment into T3, as his opponent Kanjiro is also at that T3 land stage at the moment. T3 land now also achieved for the blue UEF down here, but he's achieved it as a Cybran, which is quite the interesting turn of events. And we have a Monkey Lord starting very, very early. Breck at just 102 mass a second, going to try and throw together a Monkey Lord. He doesn't have a huge amount of build power, so it'll build slowly. Although if he's able to get that online, could be a devastating force to be used on the field. Loyalists being used to clean up this force out from Master Chief. Getting a little bit of value already is Ag Orange, but the Loyalist count over here for Kanjiro is counting upwards. Ag Orange does need to be careful that he doesn't get caught out. Overall, looking a little bit lighter on the land forces. Doesn't have nearly as many T1 forces, although he is keeping pace with the number of T3 units, and I think he is the only player on this southern flank to have any T2 units. Those rhinos may prove invaluable, as we now have tactical missile launches coming out from the Yellow Aeon's fire base. They are getting shot down. I don't know if he's gotten any real value out of this yet. No, he is not. And it does seem as though most of the area that TML would possibly attack is already TMD'd up. A very early TMD investment out from Breck is going to pay off in spades. As over here to the south, it seems this is the next kind of area of contention. There's 2 very large armies kind of converging here. Let's go ahead and just look at the raw numbers. On the front line currently, there is 10,000 mass worth of units here for Ag Orange, whereas Kanjiro is sitting on a healthy 8,000. He is a little bit behind his opposition. If we do go ahead and add in these few Tech 3 units up to the north, it is closer, as he's at 12,000 now. As the Loyalists become the first wave, going to be able to pick off quite a few of these T1 units very easily, and as long as he's careful enough to fall back before the retaliating T3 units show up, he could get some great value out of these. Does need to be careful. There's a brick in the area, and a brick is worth many Loyalists. You do not want to be having your Loyalists caught with their pants down against a brick. That DPS coming out from that T3 Cybran Assault bot will be devastating, as the Loyalists are now starting to take some attritional damage, that extra range being very useful. The brick down to 821 HP is going to skimp away, limp away, not skimp away. It's a very skimpy. That's a very skimpy brick. Oh, how naughty, how vulgar. Oh yes, the skimpy brick. If I ever make merch, that needs to be in one of my t-shirts. Oh man, as we reach our way around, reach around joke, dick jokes and sex jokes, those are so funny. What is it, 2014? But Master Chief walks forward with that shield gun comm, and he's going to be very pleased with himself picking off some structures, although doesn't want to stand in Cerberus fire for too long. He can definitely afford to with that extra 19,000 health buffer that the shield does provide him. The fighting down here to the south has kind of petered out, as the bricks have really just stopped the aggression from Ag Orange from meaning anything. It does seem as though Ag Orange maybe was able to scoop up a little bit of this reclaim, because there's not many T3 wrecks here. Of course, reclaim gonna start becoming important again. These players slowly but surely have managed to clear out their sides of the map of reclaim, so now these big fights where a lot of units are dying are going to become very, very pivotal for the progression of this game. The Loyalists trying to outmaneuver the bricks. There is this kind of bit of impassable terrain that the Loyalists can use. They're going to be getting in over here, going to be able to kill off a T2 mass extractor, going to be able to fight off a large army coming out from Master Chief. It's mainly T1, so these Loyalists are in their comfort zone, killing off all these T1 units. without a care in the world. Maybe one loyalist will go down, but what is that when you've killed off more than 5 times that loyalist's mass worth of T1 units? That might be a complete fabrication. I mean, these loyalists are paying for themselves quite handily. It's only 840 mass, so half of the loyalists or so have paid their cost back already in kills. Most of that is on T1 forces, so you have to take it with a grain of salt, since T1 forces at this stage of the game are going to be becoming very obsolete very quickly. Everything except for those T1 artillery pieces, which we see heavily fielded by Kanjiro. As Ag Orange starts to push forward over here on this southeastern flank, we'll have to keep an eye on how he progresses. Laser on the way for Kanjiro. Going to try and get a very, very sneaky play off. If he does get laser, he can just walk his way down into the comm of Ag Orange and produce a very nice effect of a nuclear explosion, because that's what lasers cause in this game. Is quite amazing how most of the most powerful land weaponry in this game, almost all of it exclusively, is lasers. Like, for example, the Monkey Lord, one of the most feared if it can get close to you experimentals. It's cheap, and if it can get within the range of that laser, will fuck up anything's day. It's a laser. Com with laser. It's a laser. GC, best land experimental, has a laser. This cast brought to you by lasers. As loyalists out for Ag Orange starting to make their way into the backline, starting to make their way into the base of Master Chief. Master Chief, our lowest rated player at 580, is going to struggle to be able to address these T3 assault bots waltzing in towards his base, killing off economy, and really just going to stifle down Team 1 quite a little bit. Although the danger zone has now been formed, a lot of this forward production, in fact all of it most likely, going down for Kanjiro, as that laser-laden comm is going to make its way down to the south to enact its unholy revenge upon the Blue Menace, which has assaulted his production. It's going to be quite the escapade into pain and suffering for Ag Orange. As fun fact, comms are not faster than other commanders, so in a chasing action, a commander will always catch up to an opposing commander. That doesn't make sense because I say they move at the same speed, but you have to take into account, any time the commander turns even a little bit, the following commander catches up. It's the same kind of concept with trying to run away from anything. If you are running in a straight line and it's moving in a straight line towards you, and you move at the same rate, you will never be caught. But if you turn a little bit, it makes it a lot easier. And the comm of Ag Orange has now died to Kanjiro, and that is going to be a very unfortunate turn of events for Team 2, who are already, I would say, probably a little bit APM taxed, with Breck having to manage 2 bases, and now he is managing 3. Gonna have to see if teamwork comes into play. Does he hand the other half of this base, or the other southern base, over to Crodex, who has reached T3 air in a relatively snappy quick time? T3 only on the way for Magnet. I think T2 is now on the way for Dinyo. That laser comm starting to get incredible value at 4,000 mass killed already. Didn't really get much effect with just the standard gun comm, and is now proving the value of that laser comm. Although the Monkey Lord in the middle has come over here, it's cleared out the fire bases. It could be redirected to the south and really give Kanjiro a good laser spanking, because funnily enough, I believe the Monkey Lord's laser is further range than the ACU's laser, and of course, even at 5 ranks of veterancy, the comm of the Cybran pitifully low on health in comparison to that of their experimental. Of course, the comm much cheaper. It's gonna be at around 20,000 HP if he manages to get 5 ranks of vet before this Monkey Lord shows up. But as it stands, he's starting to run back. I think he's realized a threat that is assailing him and moving down towards his comm from the northwest. He is, of course, sitting at around 16,000 HP. He is not going to be able to handle 40,000 HP of hulking spider coming down to kill him. Although it's not really a spider, it's closer to an ant. but Ant Lord or Monkey Lord Experimental Ant Bot doesn't sound quite as cool as Experimental Spider Bot. Spider Bot does whatever a spider bot does. Can it climb? Or can it swing from a web? No, it can't. It's a 20 million ton spider. I don't know if it's 20 million tons, but I just threw out a big number, and I'm hoping that you all don't go down in the comments and be like, well, actually, the spider would, by my calculations, the spider wouldn't be able to move, it would sink into the ground, and on top of that, it wouldn't even be 20 million tons. So you are just wrong on all accounts. Also, I know it wouldn't be 20 million tons, it'd be like, I don't know, 2,000 tons, 3,000 tons, 4,000 tons, maybe? But I just threw out a big number. Zeros are your friend, as the Monkey Lord is about to make friends with the swiggity swooty booty of Kanjiro. He's coming forward. You're already dead. And I was right! Monkey Lord laser, longer range than the laser of the ACU. Or maybe I was wrong and they just couldn't see it because I think the range of the Cybern Guncom is further than the intelligence range, so maybe it couldn't see the Monkey Lord in time. Either way, the comments will always be vindictive and tell me if I am right or wrong. Actually, they never tell me if I'm right, they just tell me if I'm wrong. Because that's how comments work. So, with that, we have a balance of power shift that is going to be relatively unfortunate for Team 1. They've lost a player. They've lost Kanjiro, who is doing very well and was the highest rated player in the game at 1507. And on top of that, now they have a really big problem. That problem goes by surname. Wait, is it surname? Its first name is Monkey, its last name is Lord. Wait, which one's the surname and which one's the there's the surname and then there's the forename? The forename. It's like foreplay but with names. As the Monkey Lord is about to have a joyful stroll through the main base of formerly Kanjiro and very soon to be belonging to absolutely nobody at all, as it will not exist. Fun fact, when things stop existing, they generally do not belong to people. Ownership generally entails something that exists. As T3 power generators are going down, this one on a smidgen of HP. I'm sure that will be corrected very soon. Mass Cerberus bank thrown up. Although if you want to kill an experimental, I think the Cerberus might be one of the worst choices. As currently using that stomp damage to kill off the T3 HQ. Up to 5 ranks of veterancy, 55,000 HP. Even these Ravagers being thrown up on the cliff will take quite a few volleys to kill off this Monkey Lord. He's going to need more Ravagers than that. We're going to need a bigger gun. Whereas over here to the west, we have a large run-by of Harbingers. There's enough Harbingers in this group to deal with these few defending bricks. This could be a very dangerous situation now for Breck. He's going to be taking a lot of damage on this. I don't really see a way for him to stop this. There's 3 Strat Bombers now out onto the field. Seems as though they are vectoring towards the comm of Dinyo. If Dinyo gets picked off by Strat Bombers, this could be huge. The bombs come in. They're going to drop if they get a second pass. This will be almost assuredly a death on to that yellow commander. You can't dodge a Revenant bomb. So it's up to how many of these bombers get off a second drop? 1, 2. Oh, it's gonna be close. That second one, no, it could have been a kill, I think. But he doesn't decide to go for it. T3 canceled. No, Dinyo, you got out of the dire straits. You could just get T3. I guess he's gonna run over to his shield generator, although his shield generator does not currently function. Fun fact about shield generators, they require power. The Monkey Lord still romping through, although Breck under huge assault now. He does have some whalers coming out from Crodex to help him out. Over here on the minimap, we have some restorers, my bad. showing up to try and deal with that Monkey Lord. It's going to start romping into the base of Dinyo. Dinyo's comm could be at threat for the second time in a very short period of time. We'll go ahead and zoom out and fix the mini-map really quick. Yeah, fix that. Fix it. Okay, whatever. As the Monkey Lord now starts to romp its way through this yellow Aeon base, the Restorer is going to slowly add up. This Monkey Lord is not getting any healthier. 135 HP a second, though, is quite a little bit to deal with. More and more Restorers showing up, and the comm of Dinyo critically under threat now. He is going to start walking away, rather lackadaisically. Would like to see a focus onto this air HQ before the Monkey Lord goes down. Shut down one more air player. Although it seems as though he's got his eyes set onto that comm of Dinyo. It's not really going to work out for him. Needs to take out one of these HQs, but this Monkey Lord doesn't quite manage it. Does take out one of the support factories. And that Monkey Lord, while it's unfortunate to leave a Monkey Lord wreck in the middle of one of your opponent's bases, I think in this situation you're more than happy with the results that Monkey Lord was able to throw together. As we now have more Strat Bombers out onto the field, that comm of Dinyo is still very, very vulnerable. If our resident Cybran for Team 2 decides on it, the fate of that yellow commander is almost all but sealed. Of course, he may not have the intel to make that happen. No, they do not. Does not seem to be an Omni on the field in comparison to their opposition, who also doesn't have an Omni, or maybe they did, but it's now dead for sure. Restorers in the middle, causing no end of grief for these bricks. Does the Restorer even make a noise when it fires? It's so underwhelming. Does so much damage, but it's such an underwhelming unit. Animation, apparently having no sound on their gun firing. The only sound I'm hearing from a gun is this flak. Maybe something else, or maybe my sound is just bugged at the moment. That's very possible. As over here to the west, large brick formation going to be running into a much larger Sniper Bot Harbinger formation. And fun fact about Sniper Bots and Harbingers, as long as the Sniper Bots aren't the things being shot at and the Harbingers are, it's a very cost-effective force. These bricks going to go down. This is going to be a huge reclaim field. Speaking of reclaim, we haven't looked at economies in a little while. Megalith in the middle, I didn't really mention it. The second best land experimental, simply because it's very, very beautiful. But Megalith in the middle, approaching. Let's look at these economies. Reclaim numbers, 34,000 for Dinyo, Breck sitting at 32,000 and 24,000 for Magnet, everybody else below 20,000. Overall economies, Breck sitting at 265 mass a second, Magnet at 219, Crodex at 212, it's 176 for Master Chief, and Dinyo at a pitiful 93, or maybe it's 111, maybe. I don't know. He does have a lot of reclaim in his area, so those numbers could be borked just a little bit. As the Megalith does the Mufasa thing. He's telling the bricks, everything the light touches is yours, or will be yours. And now we're gonna have a large musical ensemble. A song that features saying, "Can't wait to be king," about 1,000,000 times. Bouncers trying pitifully to shut down Restorers, and Megalith trying even more pitifully to shoot a T3 Max. Yeah, that's yep, I mean, it's gonna go down to the bricks, but that Megalith is like, I participated! Megalith versus GC fight to ensue. That GC gonna be getting a lot of support from Harbingers, but the bricks with the Megalith gonna help out a little bit. Restorer is going to focus down onto the Megalith. This fight is going to go relatively one-sided, I would believe. I think that GC loses it, but we'll have to see. GC's beating Megaliths is quite the sight to behold. Of course, no micro coming out on the Megalith. Maybe Breck just doesn't have the APM. With some walking backwards, this could have been a huge fight. And yeah, the GC defeats the Megalith in its nearly one-on-one combat. The bricks and Harbingers kind of dealt with each other. And that Colossus sitting on 17,000 HP doesn't look like it, but is on a rink of veterancy and is going to be getting some health back, 35 a second, nothing to scoff at. Whereas down here to the south, I missed it, but sniper bots and harbingers must have killed off Breck. I was too busy watching the experimental fight to notice it. Oh, shame on me. Somebody revoke my frequent caster card, because I just missed one of the most pivotal moments in the game. Speaking of pivotal moments, though, a nuke is about to launch in like 2 seconds. So let's go ahead and get a beautiful tracking shot to make up for my ineptitude, as the nuke will surely fire as soon as it's loaded. This is how players do. Don't make me a liar, Crodex. Fire that nuke. Mr. Crodex! Fire this nuke! I was trying to do the Ronald Reagan thing. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. You're really not gonna... I know the second I'm not tracking it, it's when he's gonna fire it. Fuck it, we're casting via minimap then. Alright. We have strap bombers trying to strap bomb the GC. GC on 25,000 HP, and we have the nuke launching momentarily. We can hear that siren going off, and we can see this beautiful, beautiful siren missile as it treks across the map. And it's heading towards the base of Magnet, who's also quite fittingly trying to build a GC. Oh, missile flew up for a second there, and we're going to have quite the beautiful impact as it's coming down, and it doesn't seem that anything's gonna stop it. And kaboom! Cybran nuclear explosion as the GC was dealt with. Some harbingers still making their way through the base, relatively unfortunate for Crodex. And now Crodex is locked in a 1v3. I'm sure he was hoping that may have killed off one of these commanders. Fortunately for Magnet, does manage to walk away and is now working on a quantum gateway. Does have an SCU, so it does seem as though he lost a quantum gateway somewhere in the ensuing fight. Strap bombers still being used to clean up various things across the map. Master Chief has built an experimental that is, of course, going to be a fat boy, as he's the only remaining UEF player. Not the only player with UEF tech remaining, though. Actually, that might be a lie. Yeah, that's a lie. All of the UEF tech that Breck brought into this game is now gone. Another assault in the middle. Percival's spearheads trying to spearhead an assault into the main base and the main production of Crodex. I don't believe this will be too successful. Maybe we'll be able to pick off some auxiliary production facilities. As we settle in for the late game, we now have nukes and standoff technology onto the field. This Monkey Lord could be incredibly useful for killing off the vestige of this T3 UEF land assault. Although there are some bricks on the field, seems as though Crodex is a little bit APM tax, having a little bit of struggles with managing so many units and so much base. Although it does get easier the longer you hold on to it. The longer he can hold on to all of this territory, the more accustomed he'll come with what he needs to do and when he needs to be doing it. Does get easier. I think the hardest point whenever you inherit a base is going to be those first 3 minutes where you have to figure out what's going on, evaluate it, and try and make a better decision than the person who died with it. Whereas over here to the west, sniper bots and harbs also starting to make their way forward. Magnet and Master Chief really taxing the APM of Crodex at this given moment. Monkey Lord now being produced by Crodex. He has plenty of reclaim on his side of the map. If he does have mass struggles, that is something he can look to. One Percival remains in the base.
Strategic launch detected.
Strategic launch detected. Second nuke in about as many minutes. And it's going straight for the base of Dinyo, and I don't believe there is any kind of recompense to stop this. There is no defensive option for the yellow Aeon. These two Aeon players both eating nukes to the face. And Crodex looking quite strong and his capabilities to nuke his opponents. Master play coming out from the Cyan Cybran. See what I did there with the focus on the A's? Oh man, just top level commentary, everybody. Harbingers and a Odd Redeemer making its way into the base. Still getting auxiliary damage. There's still mass extractors going down, and this is going to hurt Crodex, but overall Crodex still has a strong economy behind him. Just really needs to find a way to make it work for him. He has a Monkey Lord now seemingly wanting to assault over here into the main production and main kind of flank that Magnet's been managing. Another experimental has been thrown up. We now have 2 Monkey Lords sitting back here. Going to be a very, very formidable force, although the Fat Boy here in the middle starting to kill off some key structures. A T3 Cybern HQ going down, although I believe at the moment he has 3 T3 Cybern HQs, or before that he did, so not the biggest loss in the world for Crodex, although I'm sure he's unhappy to have a Fat Boy so close to his front line. Or I mean, have the front line, I guess, be so close to his base. A bunch of Harbingers coming in now from Dinyo. They're going to be running into double Monkey Lord, and that's going to be a very big problem that needs to be addressed. And I think the correct way to address this right now is to run the fuck away. Water is so delicious. As we make our way past the 38-minute mark. Overall economy, though, Team 1 double the economy of Crodex, who is Team 2 now. Let's see if he can muster some kind of miracle play, because as it stands right now, he is slowly losing territory, and he can't afford to be doing that in these large team games. It will eat you alive. Although he does have the advantage of being the first player to really get his teeth sunk into standoff technology with that nuke. He's no longer assisting it quite as heavily, or maybe he is, he just doesn't have the mass anymore. Reclaim aplenty for him if he does decide to take it, and he does have some engineers now out on the field trying to allow him to reclaim things up. Fat Boy sitting idly in the middle is going to be very, very sad to find out that there is a laser about to give him a prostate exam. Yep, the surprise butt sex from a Monkey Lord is not pleasant. And that is a glimmer of hope for the Cyan Cybern. For Crodex, as he makes his way northeast with 2 Monkey Lords. And in the west, he did lose that Monkey Lord in that assault we were seeing earlier. Can't keep track of all of the experimentals as they're dying on different flanks. And he is he's poised in a pretty decent position now to really assault this base of Master Chief if he so pleases. I think he has, these 2 Monkey Lords are probably enough with the combined stealth and the lack of overall scouting, it would seem, coming out from Team 1. It does seem as though the Monkey Lord would probably be able to get into range of these Ravagers and just destroy them very quickly. Bug spotted by Dinyo. And now Soul Ripper currently making its way to the front lines. Soul Ripper could be a relatively huge play. It could get it into a lot of damage. There's really not a huge air presence out from either side. I would say the air out from Crodex is much more oppressive, and he has focused on it for more of the game as he had those earlier plays before his teammates died with the Strat Bombers. Master Chief now running away from the Monkey Lord. Large volley of Ravager fire now coming in. A Monkey Lord going to walk forward, going to stand on top of a T3 P-Gen. Does kill it off. Master Chief now sitting on 12,900 HP on the shield, and he's about to max out at 1650 HP on the comm itself. As a Soul Ripper rolls in, and there's only 2 SAMs here, so I don't think Master Chief is going to be able to run away from this one. Unless there's some kind of air presence coming out from Team 1, this is going to be a very devastating blow as Master Chief really just cannot afford to be standing where he was at that given time, and that's going to be our next ejection here at the 41, almost 42 minute mark. That bug is going to pick up a kill on to that comm. And now it's Dinyo and Magnet versus Crodex. Crodex, against all odds, has managed to even the odds just that little bit more. Would like to see if he can manage to get some real economic damage going on here. He is going to be trying to go over here to the west, but there's a large embankment of SAMs now built up. He needs to really reconsider this. He's going to lose quite a bit. He could have just gone for the more safe play, the higher percentage play of killing off the economy. Once you focus down these shields, you kill off the few bits of AA, and then all of these T3 mass extractors are yours for the killing. Broadswords, or no, whalers up here to the northwest, trying to dismantle the base set up earlier by Magnet that has held for such a long time. Is seemingly going to be able to get that level of success that they are looking for. Although there were restorers on the field, restorers could come over. They do have that really nice AA, although gunships can fire at other gunships, so I think the whalers would be relatively capable of fighting restorers head on. As the land forces for Magnet have really dissipated. He doesn't have those large groups of sniper bots and harbingers that he once did. Although he does have a still very large economy, double that of Crodex. And he is now throwing some harbingers through the middle here. More bugs now on the way for Crodex. Over here to the north, the whalers in a heated engagement with the restorers. Restorer is going to have to run away, as I think they do eventually lose this as long as the whalers do focus them down, although there's also a decent amount of ASF here that Team 1 just doesn't really have that many ASF out onto the field right now. They just have a lot of anti-air in their main base. Gonna go ahead and speed things up as we have really reached kind of a lull here. There's some minor fighting going on up here, but not much going on elsewhere on the map, which I guess 43 minutes with no real lulls is a very good game for casting. Let's see if these players have any more tricks up their sleeves, or if it's just going to be a battle on the ground and with the occasional restorer cloud to clean up the rest of this game. Does still feel as though Team 1 is in the driver's seat, as though Team 1 can dictate the pace of the game. This Ravager firebase built up formerly by Master Chief really coming in handy now for Magnet. I would not mind to see if you see maybe one of these bugs show up to really just take that firebase out. Allow Crodex to get a little bit more territory denial on the Magnet, who is sitting on an absolutely monstrous economy. We're going to start seeing a lot of units start to pour out from the base of Magnet. Do have a GC already on the field for him. Another bug finished up. More Monkey Lords on the way. Go ahead and speed it up just a little bit more. As I said, we're in a lull, not much going on other than the occasional engagement between these small groups of units. Lots of scouting coming out from Dinyo, which is relatively admirable. They do have an Omni now, and anything that does stray a little bit too far does get shot down, of course. Double the Soul Ripper is going to be something that's scary. Strategic launch detected. That is a very hopeful nuke. Surprised the nuke wasn't used over here. But that nuke almost assuredly doesn't land. Soul Rippers coming in and trying to kill off this SCU that's building AA. They may be able to get quite a bit of economic damage done here if they can just kill off all of the AA and then start killing off this base. Could be a very good play for Crodex. Although the Restorers are about to be able to come in, and the Restorers will absolutely destroy these gunships. These experimental gunships do not stand a chance. Codex needs to be careful with his ASF as he gets caught in a very bad trade now. And that's going to really prompt the restorers to come in and kill off these gunships. You can see those main cannons as well as the AA batteries, I believe, firing off into these Soul Rippers, and you can just see the health fly off of these experimentals. Going to be focused down one at a time, and that's going to be very unfortunate for Codex. He's still building a lot of experimentals, now building a lot of Monkey Lords. Although that double Soul Ripper investment, I'm sure he's kicking himself. I'm sure he could have felt like he could have gotten more done with 4 or 5 Monkey Lords, I would guess. How much does a singular Soul Ripper cost in comparison? 34,000 versus 20,000. Those 2 Soul Rippers were worth 3 Monkey Lords. 3 Monkey Lords definitely beats this base. You maybe take some casualties, though. Monkey Lord in the middle, going down to Restorers. The air control coming out from Magnet now is a little bit oppressive, as he's able to use these Restorer Clouds to get a lot of damage done. Very reminiscent of Rainmaker 3000 in that recent cast, Restoration cast. And it's starting to look like the walls are closing in. It's starting to look like there's no hope for Codex, as now there's an assault coming out from Dinyo to the north. These Restorers are killing off any semblance of army that was here. There's just not enough flak, not enough AA mixed into this force, as units are dying unopposed in the middle. A few bricks trying to hold off a horde of Harbingers. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit, as it does feel like we're reaching a conclusion. The death of this base is going to be brutal for Codex. He was trying to claw his way back up to a similar economy to what Magnet has, and now he's gonna lose a bunch of T3 mexes, which is really gonna hurt him. GC now approaching the main base. The answer is seemingly this army, but it was caught out of position. GC may be able to just keep running by. It is slower than the bricks, I believe, but still can get into the base, can deal some economic damage, can really just knock down Codex just another tier as the Restorers are coming in. The Restorers may have been able to find the comm, but it's too late, as a Control K comes out from Codex, who fought a valiant game. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Thank you to the Patreons. Thank you to the channel members. Consider joining the Patreon or channel membership if you want to help the channel. It helps more than you could possibly believe. You all are so beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. This is Willow, signing off.